Brian Noble, you must be absolutely delighted with Bradford's performance to come to second place Oldham and come away with a very comprehensive 42-12 victory this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a committed group and we played a bit more football than we played last week. Different type of game tonight. Clearly a few players out, but didn't distract us from doing what we wanted to do. And I thought the first half was certainly exemplary.
You wanted your team, your players to turn up here with the right attitude, and they certainly did that.
Yeah, I agree. And the challenge of the Championship can be mental. It's about the head. And you go to some places and you don't produce your quality because of that. But we were certainly in the mood tonight. It was good.
What's the most pleasing aspect of this performance and victory for you?
That if they play to some of the things that they're given, Greeny knocked together. We knocked together a really good game plan. And if they stick to it, they're pretty awesome. They don't need to do the flash stuff to be impressive with the kind of talent we've got in there. And that proved to be the case tonight. We met the challenge up front. We didn't start really well when Luke Cooley kicks the ball out on the full and then we concede a scrappy try. But you're right, the tries that followed in the first half got to be up there for the try of the season already, one of them.
You've just mentioned the start, not the greatest start, kicking out on the full, conceding a try on Oldham's first attack. But how important was it, Brian, to kind of get that focus, that composure, that you immediately went back-to-back with those back-to-back scores?
Well, I thought we dominated the first half. I think that's where our success came from. And that's on the back of them doing a lot of really good things on the bounce. And so it's not rocket science. We put the ball together and we look after the ball. I think we completed high as well in that first half. And in reality, we just had to not be complacent in the second half and we'd get the result. But we wanted to stitch together two halves. And we weren't close. We got a bit scrappy in the middle. The game got scrappy, which it often can. But yeah, I'd go back to what you said. It's a thrilling win for us.
You've just mentioned probably the Guy Armitage score, where I think it goes through 6 or 7 pairs of hands and 78, 80 metres. Bradford showed that ruthless streak this evening.
I'm not sure that's ruthless. That's terrific skill and awareness of where people are and where they're not. So we're thrilled with that. They went from one end of the field to the other. Both the tries early tries were from our end of the field, so you've got to be pleased with that. Our kicking was a whole lot better tonight, and our competing on most things was really good.
There was, I think, 5 tries from kicks.
Mm-hmm.
You've just highlighted a strength, which was that kicking game. It wasn't just Jordan Lilly, it was Luke Cooley, it was James Meadows. It was a very, very full-blooded team performance.
Yeah, it's hard to pick people. When you look at what the pack did, we lost Eben Skur with a calf injury early on. Franklin went off with a calf injury, so it's been a tough game on the quiet. We've picked up a few injuries ourselves along with the others, but yeah, I just think the whole team deserves credit for tonight's performance because they played as a collective.
You mentioned Eben Skur. I think Franklin Pelly in the second half did 5 minutes, Brian, before you had to take him off the field.
Yeah.
What's the latest with those two?
Don't know till tomorrow, maybe Monday. We're hopeful, but Franklin certainly looks worse than Evans, so we'll see.
How important was it that the side backed up that very intense physical performance at Halifax with this win this evening?
I think it was important for them to understand and gain confidence in that if they look after the ball, they're a pretty decent team. And that's what we did in the first half. We didn't put our skill under pressure. There wasn't a moment I was worried about skill being under pressure because it's what they'd practiced to do. And Greeny and I highlighted that earlier in the week. We told we can't keep doing these kind of things to each other. So it was important that we played the way that we wanted to play. And they did.
Jordan Lilly was given the man of the match by one of your players, Kieran Gill, who was on commentary with myself. Do you agree with that? What was Jordan's contribution like for you this evening?
Well, he looked like a class half tonight, didn't he? And there was control from him and Meadows, certainly in the first half. And That was pleasing. We looked organised, we looked like we knew what we were trying to do. We scored a try right at the death, which is probably the game plan, which is really exemplary. And then we defended our line for 3 minutes, which is, again, exemplary. It's the things that we want to be renowned for. We've met our defensive target. We only conceded 12 points, and we certainly looked more threatening in attack.
For fans looking at the team news an hour before kick-off, no Joe Keys, am I right in saying he has a broken finger, Brian?
Yes.
When did that happen? What's the ETA on Joe?
Well, as soon as he can pick his nose again with that finger, it'll probably feature. But unfortunately, at the moment, it's in a splint. We don't know. It'll join the others maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks.
I'm kind of guessing any fans thinking, oh no Joe Keys, and then they've just seen Jordan Lilly and James Meadows. It's probably gone from one emotion to the other.
Well, if you go back to the start of the year when we were talking about the squad, I knew Jordan's versatility would be vital for this team, moving along, and he's proved that tonight. I think he was exemplary, but along with others, I thought the big blokes did a terrific job.
I think the error count, Brian, ended up Oldham 12, Bradford 5. I think the first half you made one error, which tells me you're completing in the high 90s.
Yeah.
How pleased are you with that performance side? We speak about discipline. It's not just about penalty set.
I don't want to take anything away from the players and their achievement this evening. It's good to come out. I think it's September 2003, the last time we were beaten here. So that gives our credit, give credit where it's due. And did we get a bit sloppy in the second half? Yeah, we did. They were chasing the game, so they were also going to be a bit sloppy. But, whilst we could look at that, overall, we've got to be delighted with the performance like that.
It is Oldham's first home defeat in, I think I worked
Long
it
time.
out, 573 days.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at this, Brian. This is a big statement win for Bradford, but a lot of people in the Championship, this will cause a few ripples. Does that put a bit more kind of pressure on you for next week to keep it going?
Well, we're on a bit of a run, but we absolutely would love to keep it going. But I mentioned it at the start, the challenge with the Championship is the mentality and doing good things for long periods. And when we do that, we're a match for anybody. So, again, we'll revel this weekend in what we've achieved this weekend, but understand that Sheffield, who themselves tonight have had a huge win against Batley, will come all cylinders blazing to Watson next week.
Aribi Dolroy was an initial 2-week loan. Is it too early to say what happens with Aribi, or is he going back to Hull KR?
No, I think he will go back. I don't know for sure. We'll speak to Hull KR, but they're keen to use him, and why wouldn't you? On the kind of form he's shown for us this last couple of weeks, it's been great having him back. He's fitting seamlessly because he's close with a lot of our players. So it's important that we're thankful to Hull KR for that, and clearly if he's available anytime soon, then we'll take him again. But I'll discuss that with Hull KR. He's a Hull KR player for sure.
At the end again, Brian, Bradford backed by another huge.
Great crowd.
It was a record, a modern day record Boundary Park crowd, backed by the 1,000 plus that have come from Bradford.
Yeah.
These are big numbers now. There was 2,400 at the Share, a record crowd there. Bradford taking these big numbers now, Brian. This is very, very good for the club. It shows the health, and more importantly, it shows that the fans will back you and support this project that everybody's on.
And let's tell the story. Keep telling the story. Let's build some momentum. Let's get some more people. Let's get some people that haven't been for a long while, and let's make the most of it. It's a tough competition. It's a Championship, and as I say, it's as much of a mental challenge as it is a physical or talent challenge on the field. We certainly get helped by the unbelievable support that we're getting at the moment, and I'd like it to grow. We'd all like it to grow.
Just the final one from me, because I know Harry wants to ask a few. You mentioned it getting a little bit sloppy in that second half. Is there still room for improvement in your eyes?
Every week, it's a game of chaos, is rugby league sometimes, and it's hard to strive for a perfect 80 minutes. You very rarely get that, but I still think we can be a whole lot better in a lot of areas.
A lot of the talk, Brian, was about the defensive display at Halifax. Do you feel like that's the attacking display you've been waiting for?
No, I thought we actually improved defensively in a lot of areas. We worked on in and around the ruck this week, which I thought we weren't particularly great at Halifax. Our goal line day was outstanding at Halifax. We saw again towards but the freak try at the start after the goal kick out. So we've only conceded once then. You know, the young boy PLT's got some wheels, hasn't he? So we'll have a look at that and see what happened there. But no, I think overall it was a good performance. Attacking wise, I thought the second try was exemplary. Yeah.
Would you say that's the best attacking performance of the season?
At times we've attacked like that. You know, we scored a lot of points in a lot of games and then not backed it up. But I thought we got close tonight to understanding what we need to do to be successful in scoring points.
Sam Ellis came in, obviously. How do you think he fared tonight?
Yeah, good. I like Sam. He knows we like him. We're generally getting our squad tested. We've got 5 out. You know, nobody knew about Joe Keys tonight. So the balance of the team and things like that. And I thought we looked really good. Maybe picked up a couple more injuries, so the rest of the squad are going to have to take part in that. So yeah, I'm thrilled with what Sam does for us.
And Wacker Blake as well, obviously. Hat-trick tonight, looked tremendous in the attacking phase. How pleased were you with his performance?
Yeah, he'll be the one that will appreciate what Jade Knockenberg does on the outside of him and what Guy Armitage does on the other side and what Bailey Lou did tonight. So we've got some outside backs with a lot of prowess and a lot of power. And we showed that tonight. And I'm particularly pleased with the fact that they took on board what we spoke about in the review last week, and we shifted the ball quite a lot for good advantage, not for the sake of shifting the ball.